welcome back to my channel. So for today's makeup look, we are going to be doing my go-to glowy, dewy, natural looking finish foundation routine. It is a mouthful, but this is my favorite foundation routine to kind of transition my skin from fall to spring and summer. So obviously when we go from the colder months to the warmer months, we kind of want a more glowy, kind of dewy, luminous look to our skin. So this is the foundation routine that I transition myself into as the weather gets warmer and as we approach summer, even though it is freaking freezing here on the East Coast. We keep getting hit with nor'easters and rain and snow, and I'm just sick of it and I can't wait for the warm, like 80 degrees weather again. But I'm hoping that as I get into my summer foundation routine, warm weather will soon approach us. I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite tips and tricks, as well as my favorite products to achieve a really natural, glowy, dewy, kind of luminous look to your skin without feeling too sticky, without looking shiny and oily, and it just looks really, really natural and very skin-like. So as always, you want to start off your foundation with a good base, so you want to make sure that you have your skin exfoliated, moisturized, all your serums on your face. Today I just use my Derma Purifying Youth Serum, and this has been my go-to like everyday moisturizer, especially for the morning time for maybe 2.5 years now. I love that it really moisturizes and sinks into my skin without making it feel tacky or sticky, and it's just really, really lightweight, so it sits well underneath foundation. I also have a little bit of eye cream under my eye area right now, and today I used the Drunk Elephant C-Tango Multivitamin eye cream. This is to firm and brighten your under eye. They sent this to me in a PR box and I've just been trying it out, and I've actually been really, really enjoying it. It makes my under eye area feel super smooth. It makes my concealer sit on top a lot smoother. It doesn't crease or anything, and it's not too thick. I find that with thicker eye creams, especially during the day if you're going to be wearing makeup, with thicker eye creams it tends to crease a little bit because it is so heavy underneath the eye. So you definitely want to use something lightweight, and I just love the packaging on this. So you kind of turn the top and the pump comes out. So it is a pump dispenser. You get the right amount of product to how much you want to apply. At night I do apply a full pump to my under eye area, and then whatever's left on my fingers, I'll tap it up towards my forehead, around my smile lines, and just around my nose area. But during the day, like a third of a pump or even half a pump is more than enough. So that's what I have on my face right now. So my biggest tip is to start off with good skincare, because no matter how good your foundation looks, if your skin is like flaky or super oily because you're not using the right skincare products, your foundation and your concealer and all the beautiful products you lay on top is not gonna last throughout the day. So now that I'm finished with my skincare spiel, let's start off with the actual makeup process. So lately I find that if I start off with a primer spray before my actual cream primer, my skin feels a lot more hydrated, which then kind of turns into glowier skin. So right now I'm kind of just obsessed with the MAC Fix Plus. This is the Coconut Prep and Prime. So you give this a good shake and kind of just spray it all over. If you're a coconut lover like I am, I'm obsessed with anything coconut scented, you'll really enjoy this. But if you hate the smell of coconut, then I would try the regular Fix Plus, or they also have a rose, but coconut is just like my weak spot. So I usually let this sink into my skin for about a minute or two. It's already starting to kind of dry. So again, you want to use a good primer so that even though you're layering glowy products on top, you don't look oily, because that is not the look we're going for. So for my primer, I've been enjoying the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This is a hydrating primer, so not only does it hydrate your face, but it also cling onto your foundation and control your oily spots. So I do about maybe a dime size of it. I don't apply this all over because I find that if I lay as little products on my face as possible, my foundation tends to stick on longer. So I like to warm this up between my fingers, and I literally just apply this to my T-zone, which is where I get the most oily. and I don't like to rub it into my skin. You can if you want, but I do have bigger pores around my nose area and around my mouth and chin area. I like to press it into my skin so that it fills up the pores, and this is probably the lightest face primer that I've used. It just feels really good on the skin. It doesn't feel like slick and silicone-y like most primers do. It just feels really, really lightweight, and it does make my foundation last a little bit longer than it would without this primer. So let's finally throw on some foundation. I have two recommendations for you. The first is the beloved Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Foundation. Right now my shade is Y245. I'm usually between this and Y255. I absolutely love this foundation from Makeup Forever. I'm pretty sure if you Google it right now, you will find millions of positive reviews. I don't think I've ever met anyone that hated this foundation. This one is really good if I'm going to be out in the sun or where I'm going to be a little bit more heated than natural. This is really good for not mattifying my face, but controlling my oils a little bit better. It has a really beautiful medium to full coverage, but the finish is kind of like natural matte. So it's not completely matte and flat, but it's not anywhere near glowy or anything. It's definitely like matte, almost satiny. So this is a really natural looking finish if you're looking for something like that. But if you really want to get your glow on, I would highly suggest the Luminous Silk Foundation from Giorgio Armani. This has a really beautiful silk finish, hence the name, but it also provides a really kind of natural, like healthy sheen to your face. So when you move your face, your skin doesn't look like it has a layer of foundation on it. It just looks like your skin is really, really even and perfect, but you still have that like, see if I turn my face now, you can see this glow and like natural just oiliness to my skin. This kind of mimics that, but it also covers up any kind of blemishes that you have. So for today, I'm actually going to be using this foundation. I like to give this a really, really good shake because it does tend to settle if you don't use it for a little bit. And the trick to making your foundation look not only super, super natural on your skin, but also give such a luminous, natural looking glow to it is face oils. And you can use any type you like. I would stay away from argan or coconut oil because those are a little bit heavier. This is the Derma Illuminating Rosehip and Cranberry face oil. I find that putting a little bit, and by a little bit I literally mean one drop, like one drop, not one dropper, mixed in with like a pump or two of foundation. It just melts into my skin so much better. It helps blends everything out easier, and it makes my skin look like skin, but without any kind of blemishes or flaws to it. So it's a really good trick if you want to make your foundation a little bit more lightweight, but also provide you with a glowy, natural looking finish. Some people do one pump of foundation to one drop of facial oil, but I like to do 2 pumps of foundation to 1 drop of facial oil, especially because I am a little bit oilier around my T-zone area. I want to minimize as much oil production on my face throughout the day as possible. So I find that 2 pumps of foundation and 1 drop of facial oil. Again, you can use any kind you want. So literally, I hope you guys can see this, just 1 drop, and that should be enough. Let me put that to the side so I don't spill it. And then you can just take a foundation brush and just mix this up on your hand. And it's really not that hard to mix in with your foundation. I don't know why I found it really intimidating in the beginning. So I'm just gonna put this on my brush and paint it on my face. You wanna start off with little product as possible. You don't wanna put on a full thing of foundation and look cakey, because you want your skin for this look to look really light, really luminous, and just as natural as possible. So if you start off on the outer perimeter first and blend in, it would look the most natural that way. I'm just gonna put a little bit on my nose. I honestly have so much product left. So I like to use a beauty sponge. This one is from L'Oreal. This is like one of my favorite sponges. It's super affordable. He's super squishy and chubby, and I just love him. It just feels like a massage on my face. I don't like to use a foundation brush because with a glowier look, again, I want as little product as possible on my face so my skin looks really healthy and natural and not caked up. So a beauty sponge will soak up a little bit more foundation, but that's kind of what I'm wanting. And I'm just gonna spray him with a few spritzes of the MAC Fix Plus. I'm gonna go in and bounce it all over my face. And the Fix Plus and the oil together really helps blend out your foundation like a dream. Hi, Mom. Okay, Mama. Okay, Mama. Bye. We're going to look at the menu for our wedding tomorrow. We looked at it today and fell in love, but our parents wanted to go look at it too. So we're gonna book an appointment and go see it tomorrow. So back to this makeup look. So you can see already how beautiful my skin looks. My hyperpigmentation and acne scars has decreased dramatically, but my skin still looks like skin and it doesn't feel heavy on my face. So whatever like product is left over on my hand, I'll just go back and pounce it over the areas that need a little bit more help. So it's usually around my cheek area, which is where I guess pick on my skin and bully because that's always where I get the most hyperpigmentation. And honestly, I still have a lot of products left. So you really don't need to cake on foundation and do one whole pump on each side of your face. So the trick is to use as little product as possible. The last thing I want to do during hot summer days is to feel like I'm wearing 2 full pumps of foundation on my face. I think that's probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings ever. So if I'm going to be wearing foundation in the summer, it's like half a pump or a full pump mixed with some facial oil because it just thins it out, makes it look more natural, and just, I don't know, it takes away the heaviness of the foundation. And with this foundation, you can layer as much as you want and it doesn't cake up. So especially around my cheek area, I still see a little bit of like problematic skin. So I just go back and forth with layering a little bit more foundation on, but I never ever want to cover up all of my hyperpigmentation. When your skin looks perfect, as in you don't see any pores, you know, sunspots, age spots, acne spots, hyperpigmentation, that's when people are gonna be like, she's wearing foundation. So I like to just keep my, you know, like acne scars. Obviously I don't want them to be the center of attention, but if they're still peeking out underneath my foundation, that's like perfect coverage for me. That just means that my skin still looks like skin, but the like major problematic areas are covered up. So the redness around my nose especially is covered up. That's all I'm asking for. And of course my under eye dark circles. So I have foundation left on my hand. I'm just gonna wipe it off because I'm wearing a white t-shirt and I will get it all over myself. So let me just wipe that off real quick. But this is my skin with 2, maybe 1.5 pump of foundation really mixed in with a drop of oil. And it just looks really luminous. That sheen is still there. It doesn't look oily. It looks like skin. My problematic areas are covered up. My redness is gone. My skin looks even, with the exception of my under eye circles. But my skin, as I turn my head, still looks like skin. I still have that natural skin finish to it, which makes everything look really, really natural. And it doesn't feel heavy. I honestly can touch my face. It doesn't feel tacky. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing a layer of makeup on, even though I am. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of concealer. This is, of course, my NARS. I never remember what this is called. Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Custard. I like to take this in the inner parts of my eye because it's dark there. And then just go and cover up any really dark spots that I want covered. So again, you want to work in light layers. So instead of going back with another layer of foundation to cover up these spots that I want covered, just do a little bit of concealer and it does the trick. And if your beauty sponge feels a little bit dry, just a little bit of Fix Plus or any kind of face spray you have. I don't know why I don't do more foundation routines because they're probably one of my favorite videos to film. I'm a big skincare junkie, you guys know that, and I love sharing any kind of tips and tricks that I have when it comes to natural looking foundation while still covering up any areas that you want covered up. And you guys know I always like to turn my sponge back to the side where I applied the foundation and blend out that concealer a little bit more towards the foundation so that there's no weird triangle of concealer under your eyes. So this kind of just melts it in with the foundation so everything looks seamless. So I'm just going to set my under eyes before I kind of continue. So I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. Mine is getting a little bit beat up. So with that same sponge, I'm just going to dip it into this middle shade right here. This is like the banana powder shade of the palette. And I'm just going to lightly pat that into my under eye area. This will not only set that concealer so that nothing creases up throughout the day, but it also brightens that area like no other. So before I set my face with any type of powder, I want to finish up with any kind of cream products that I'm going to be using. And this next product is probably the secret weapon to my glowy makeup look. So if you want your skin to look like this and be finished, you can definitely do that. If I'm trying to be normal and not go extra with my glowy look, I'll just leave it like this, throw on some bronzer, blush, and be out the door. I'll actually just skip highlight because this provides enough kind of glow feedback for my like everyday routine. So I'll just leave it like this. But if I want to like get that summer dewy glowy look, this is the secret weapon. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand, and this is in the shade Spotlight. I absolutely love this product and I'm so mad at myself for not picking it up sooner. So this is a squeeze tube cream highlighter. It comes out in a little sponge applicator. So let me show you one side of my cheek. Which side should I do? I'll do this side. So you squeeze a little bit out and this comes out quite quickly, so you want to be really careful. I'll kind of tap it off on the back of my hand. Look how gorgeous that color is. Just to absorb most of the product on my hand. And then I'll honestly just do kind of a line right there. I'll put some right here, and for now that'll be good enough. And then again with my sponge, I'll just go in and blend it out. And this has got to be one of the easiest cream products that I have ever worked with. I really want to pick up her contour wand. It's exactly like this, but a contour shade, because look how easy that blended out on my forehead. And it looks so completely natural that it looks like your skin is this glowy on its own. Because it's not a powder product, this honestly just melts into your skin and makes it look like you're glowing from within. If you want that glowing, lit from within look, try a cream highlighter. You obviously don't have to invest in something as pricey as this product, but you guys know I'm a makeup junkie. I had to try it out. So look how pretty that looks. And you can always blend it out. It's so easy to just melt into your skin. Look at that. I'm actually just gonna put a little bit more on my forehead. You can really get carried away with this product because it looks so beautiful. You're like, I want more. I want more of it. Put it all over. So let's just compare the two sides of my face. This, of course, has that cream highlighter on it. And this side is the one with just a natural dewy look to it. It actually looks matte now compared to this side. It looks beautiful still, but this side just looks so healthy and luminous. I just love it. So let's do the same thing on the other side. So again, just tap off a little bit of the product so you don't get a blob of this cream highlighter on your cheek to start off with. So you're gonna do a line and then just a few spots up on your forehead. And again, takes like 3 seconds to blend out. Look at that. So pretty. And again, always flip it over to the side where you applied your foundation, just so that everything blends in and nothing just looks streaky and harsh. Don't want that. There you go. Look at that. Gorgeous. So let's do a little bit on our nose. I've been enjoying highlighting right here. Who did I see do this? I think I saw Desi do this on her channel, and ever since then I'm like, well, if Desi highlights right in the middle of her eyes, obviously you gotta do it too, so here it is. I absolutely love how glowy my skin looks right now, but it's like a natural glow. It's not too sparkly. So now I'm going to set my face so that everything lasts all day long. This is another Charlotte Tilbury product. This is her Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder, and I got the shade 2 medium. So again, with your sponge, I'm not gonna wet it or anything, just it's still a little bit damp from my water earlier. I'm just gonna pat it into the sponge, and it actually picks up a lot of product. And I'm just gonna bounce this and roll it onto my face. I'm gonna avoid, obviously, putting it on top of that highlighter because I don't want it to look matte again or mattify it. I'm just gonna pounce it onto the areas where I wanna set my skin and make everything look super even and smooth, and this powder is magic. Around the areas of my nose, kind of on the sides of my nose where my skin has larger pores, and of course my forehead, because for some reason that is the first area to get oily. So before I even head into bronzer and blush, I like to set my face again and take away any kind of powder residue from that Charlotte Tilbury powder. Even though we didn't apply it with a brush and kind of buff it all over our face and kind of just lightly pat it into our skin, I want to take away any kind of powdery look so that my skin continues to look fresh and natural looking and dewy without looking like I have any kind of powder product sitting on top. So again, just a few more spritzes of this MAC Fix Plus. Maybe a little bit more than a few. So I'm gonna let this dry. So that is it for my base products. This is when I would go into bronzer and blush. And I usually skip a powder highlighter altogether if I'm going to be wearing this cream highlight from Charlotte Tilbury, because again, I want to avoid as much powder products as possible, with the exception of my setting powder, blush, and bronzer. I just want my skin to look as dewy and glowy as possible, and powder takes away from that. So if you want a glowy, dewy, natural finish look, use as little powder products as possible. You can even use a cream bronzer and cream blush if you want this to be very natural and very glowy and dewy looking. I'm gonna hop off camera and apply my blush and bronzer really quickly before I jump back in and finish up with this video. So that is it for this makeup look. I hope you enjoyed my glowy, dewy, natural looking skin summer foundation routine. It is a long title, but I hope you picked up some tips and tricks, and if you have any questions about any of the products that I used or mentioned, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.